still on subgroups. We've been discussing a lot, and what we want to discuss now is very interesting. Suppose you have an element, or suppose you have a G, suppose you have a group G, and that's a group. Suppose you have a group G and you have H, which is a subset of G, and you discover that H itself becomes a subgroup, having E in H and having A, B inverse in H, so that A, B are in H. I remember in my last video, these are all the conditions for this to become a subgroup. But let us discuss something very interesting. Remember I said something, that it is possible for this to be, let's imagine that this is a group G, and we cut a part of it that contains let's say the part of it that contains the identity element. You know, that part of it that contains the identity element can be called H, and it's actually H because it contains the identity, and identity, the inverse of the identity is actually the inverse itself. So this is a subgroup itself. Remember I said that is a trivial subgroup. The trivial subgroup is that particular group that contains only the identity element. Now we can do something very interesting. We can pick a particular G, in the main group and multiply it with this. That means we can do this, use G, probably a particular G, and call this G1 and multiply with H. You have another one, G2, multiply with H, and you keep doing that until we cover up the whole of this. Now, those sets we have, those sets we now create by simply multiplying one element from the group by this particular H. It's what we call the cosets. So we have GH, which is the same thing as GH, such that H is in H itself. And taking note that G is in G. So this is called cosets, but specifically, these are called the left cosets. They are called the left cosets. Now, that is very interesting because in this case, HG can be equals to, obviously, HG, such that H is in H. And we can call this the right coset. So call this the right cosets. Call this the right cosets. So take note that whenever the left coset and the right coset are the same, we say that this is an abelian group. So in that case, we have that GH is equals to HG. Very, very interesting. So this is what we refer to as the cosets. And when we take all the cosets, like if we take GI of H, we can cover the group with sets and call that the cosets. Is that all? No. It takes us back to what we call the generators. Remember in one of my videos, I talked about the generators. And what are the generators? I told you that it is that single element in G that we use in generating G or even the subgroup itself. So you can pick an element here and you can actually generate a subgroup from this. So it means that the generator itself is actually a subgroup. So the generator, the set generated by the generator is actually a subgroup of G itself. For instance, the one you know very well is that the generator minus 1 will form the whole of Z. Yes. Just keep adding minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1. You see that it will generate the whole of Z. The positive, like minus 1, minus 5. It's going to be minus 1 plus 5, and that is 4, which is this. It's inside Z. So you can generate all the negative numbers and all the positive numbers by this single element we call the generator. So this is a subgroup of Z itself. I need to do a lot of this explanation so that you can actually understand the definitions we're having. But let us do some proof. And what is the proof? Is this actually a subgroup? Yes, I have explained and I've given you good explanation to show that it is a subgroup. But is it actually a subgroup? Let us apply the subgroup test. Now, the definition of this, A is this definition, A raised to the power n such that n is in Z. So that is the mathematical definition of a generator. But is this a subgroup? Let us prove. Now, the proof that it is a subgroup is number one. We see that E is actually very true because this is going to be E raised to the power of n, and that is in Z itself. The identity raised to the power of n is still going to give us an element here, which is the identity element anyway. But if this is equal to an, and let's pick another element, say another generator, which is another positive integer, which is n, or any integer, which is n. Now, is an times an inverse still in Z? Let's see that if it's true. You see that an and times a minus m is going to give us an minus m, which will give us a raised to the power k, and you see that k is going to be any integer. So at the end of the day, this becomes another generator. So this again becomes another generator such that k is in Z. How interesting! Very, very interesting. So I've been able to show that the element and the product of the element and the multiple with the inverse of another element is actually in Z. Remember the property A, B inverse, one of the subgroup tests to show that something is a subgroup. So that actually ends the proof there. And this has already shown an example of a generator. Now, I'm going to end with one very beautiful concept you need to know, and that concept is the concept of the cyclic subgroup. So the cyclic subgroup can be generated by a single element. So this also can give you the cyclic subgroup because it keeps generating a particular element. An example is 3 that generates U10, which I talked about. This generates all the elements in U10, which is 1, 3, 7, and 9. Finally, I round up with this, and it's with respect to the powerful mathematician called Lagrange. Whenever we have, this is Lagrange theorem for you, whenever we have G, which is the group itself, and you have H, which is the subgroup of G, then Lagrange theorem is telling you that the order of H, remember I talked about what we mean by the order of a group and the order of a subgroup. The order of H divides the order of G. That is what Lagrange is saying. So if the order of H is, let us say K, is going to divide the order of G, which is N. So a very interesting result discovered by Lagrange itself. Like you see very closely, the order of an infinite group is going to also divide the order of a fine infinite subgroup, and many other examples. That is Lagrange for you. Lagrange. Sure. So you can take a more look at this and more examples of this, how the order of the subgroup divides the order of the group itself. Thank you very much, and bye.